Hi everyone. So in today's video, we will be talking about Terraform workspace. So before getting into the Terraform workspace, we will try to understand why Terraform workspace is in the part of the requirement, correct? So how Terraform works. So first of all, we will try to understand how Terraform works. So just suppose that there is a customer A for which you have to provision the complete infrastructure, correct? You have to provision the VPC, you have to provision the EC2 instances, you have to provision the RDS instances, subnets, and all those components of the AWS cloud, correct? We are just considering AWS cloud here in the picture, while Terraform supports other clouds as well. So just suppose for customer A, you have written down all the Terraform code, and this Terraform code will provision the infrastructure for this customer, correct? So for there will be a one state file, as we have seen in earlier videos. Whatever the Terraform scripts we write, according to that, it maintains a state file where it gives all the configuration related to your EC2, your VPC, RDS, everything, correct? So for this customer A, it will keep the state file. Now, what if this customer A require the infrastructure for different environments? Like the customer A wants that there should be environment which should be the of the day. There should be environment for the testing purpose, and then there should be a real environment that will be called as production environment. But your customer wants to have the two case here. Either the customer wants that having the same kind of infrastructure for all the environments, either the day staging or the production, or the different kind of infrastructure for all these different environments, correct? So if my customer A wants that for the dev environment, for the staging environment, or for the production environment, there should be instances with the configuration t2.micro only, correct? Or just suppose that rather than t2.micro, he wants that for the staging environment, it should be the t2.medium, correct? So what will for this environment, he wants that this should be EC2 with the details T2 dot medium. So sorry, T2 dot medium. So for the with the same code, you have to either provision the different environments and with the same configuration, or you have to provision the different environments infrastructure with different configuration, correct? So what will happen if you use the same Terraform code? You provision the dev environment, you provision the staging environment, but with the different configuration. So for all these two environments, there will be only one state file. So the moment you will create the dev for the EC2 T2.micro, it will work fine. And all the configuration related to EC2 will be stored in the state file. After that, when you do the changes in the configuration file and you update from T2.micro to T2.medium, the whenever you will do the Terraform apply, it will initiate the Terraform in the state file which has the configuration for the dev environment. So rather than creating a new infrastructure for the staging, it will update the same state. It will update the same infrastructure. That means it won't be able to create a different environment for the staging one, correct? Let's understand it by practical, and then we will see the concept of workspace, where we will be creating different state file for the different environments, correct? So let's see the problem first, and then we will come to the solution. So as usual, every time I do, already used to write all the codes and details so that we can save the time. So I'm here at the my VS Code, correct? So if you can see, I'm just removing this terraform.tfs.d, move to recycle bin, terraform.log.html. I'm removing this as well. This is not of the requirement right now. Okay, so main.tf, I'm creating one VPC resource, AWS VPC, one subnet, public subnet one, and one AWS instance. It's just Terraform basic code, just to understand the workspace. We are not getting into complexity, correct? So one VPC I'll be creating, one subnet, and one AWS instance. Here in my use case, I'm just considering that I'm creating different VPC for the same customer. For the different environment, I'm creating different VPC as well, correct? So it will be VPC, and these are the variables I will be using. Name is equal to var.vpc name, and these variables VPC name, subnet name, and instance name are declared in variables.tf. These are the variables: VPC name, subnet name, and then instance name. These are the variables which I will be using here to pass the configuration. And in parallel to this, I have created Terraform.tf where I'm passing the variables value. The variables which are created here, VPC name, subnet name, and instance name. So if you have watched my second video in the Terraform tutorial, you will be seeing that if my Terraform TF are mentioned and the value are there, so variables.tf will be overridden, correct? This value will be used to configure the infrastructure. So we will see that as well. So I have one Terraform.tf verse, one main.tf, one variables.tf, and one providers.tf where we are giving this access key, secret access key, and the region and the required providers. Okay, so let's get into the terminal. Let's do the clear. Let me do the Terraform init. Okay, so back to the video. Terraform init has worked, and after that, let's see the Terraform workspace. So let's check how much spaces are there. Terraform workspace. So list. So there is only default workspace. So let's do the Terraform plan. Okay. It will list down all these three resources, BPC, your one subnet, one AWS EC2 instance that will be created. Let me do the Terraform apply here. Terraform apply hyphen auto and hyphen approve. It will create all these three resources and we will cross check it over the AWS console itself. So three resources are being created, VPC, and then subnet will be created, and after that one EC2 instance will be created. We will check it over the console. And then we will create one more TA box for the different environment and we will see how will it behave. So instance is being created. It will take around 10 to 20 seconds. Yeah, it has been created. Let's get into the console. Let's refresh here. One EC2 instance will be created. Let me search for the VPC as well. Instance, yeah, demo EC2. It has been created, and from the name you can check that it has been picked from the Terraform.tf demo hyphen caps EC2, correct? So that's the value which has been provided from the Terraform.tf. So priorities you can check when you have when you have declared variables.tf and Terraform.tf. So Terraform.tf has the highest priority, correct? So our one EC2 instance has been created, one VPC has been created, demo underscore demo hyphen VPC. Now, when it's created, let me just do the clear here. And what will I do? I will just create one more Terraform TFOS file, and for that I will give the name dev hyphen TFOS. So just suppose for the dev environment, I'm passing the different value dev.tfs. So I will be selecting the same demo hyphen issue to the same details, and then the dev.tfs I will be passing the different details. So okay, so we are talking about this instance type. So instance type is one of the variable what we have used in main.tf. So with the help of that, we are passing the configuration for our AWS EC2 instance, correct? So here you can see for the AWS EC2 instance, we have this t2.micro, correct? That configuration we have passed with the help of this variables.tf and with the help of Terraform.tf. For that, we are passing t2.micro. Now, if I have to create a different environment that is called as dev environment, correct? So for that, I will be having the different configuration, and there I will be passing the same kind of details. So, but with the different configuration. But let's see in the dev.tf box, I will be adding one more variable here, and rather than t2.micro, I will do t2.medium, and I will just save. Let's run the Terraform apply again. Yeah, Terraform apply. And rather than auto approve, let me do where hyphen file equal to, and the name of the file dev.tavars. So dev.tavars, yeah, that should be the convention. Okay. So what is expected here that it should create a different EC2 instance with the configuration t2.media. Let's set up fail to load tavars as a plan file. Create file if the system cannot find the file specified. Okay. So let me do the Terraform plan first. Terraform plan hyphen var hyphen file equal to dev.tavars. Too many command line arguments. Just let me wait a second. Video, and here I need to do this formatting dev.tavars that I had forget. Let's do the Terraform plan, and it should show us the plan with the details. So it's being populated. We will see refreshing the state, refreshing the, so where is it refreshing, correct? So initially terraform.tf state is created. This is the state file, correct? Where all the details are there. If you can see my instance, your VPC and the subnet, all these details has been that resources have been created, subnet and the VPC, correct? So this is the state file which I explained here. So let's get into the diagram. So the one is Terraform state file has been created initially, correct? When we ran that with the t2.micro, that for that one state file has been created. Now when we change the configuration and I'm passing the dev.tf it's getting into the same state file. It's checking for the AWS instance and it's getting the details from the same. So if you see the Terraform plan, you will see rather than creating one, it's updating one to change, correct? And what is it changing? So let's see the plan, and you will see name demo EC2, that is fine. What is the being updated? T2.micro to T2.media, correct? So rather than creating a different infrastructure for the different environment, when we are passing the different configuration, it's a static, it's getting into the same state file, updating the same EC2 instance rather than creating the new one, correct? So there your workspace comes into the picture. Now having one state file for the Terraform, we will be having different state file for the different environments. So just suppose that this is the dev environment. So for the dev environment, there will be one state file, correct? In the similar way, we will be having two more state file for the different environments. For the production one, we will be having one state file. For the staging one, we will be having a different state file. So for all the infrastructure, we'll be having these different environments. These three will be called as a workspace. And for all these individual workspace will have their own state file. So even if you want to replicate the same configuration for infrastructure, you can replicate. If you want to have the different configuration for the different environments, you can pass that same, correct? So let's create these three workspace and we will do the implementation. We will see how will it work, correct? So let's get into the code again. And I'm just deleting the infrastructure for now. What I have created, Terraform destroy hyphen auto hyphen approve. So the resources what I have created that will be destroyed in between, and we will create the infrastructure from the fresh, correct? So we will do the creation. So meanwhile, it's being deleted. I'm just stopping for a few seconds, then we will start creating the workspaces and we will talk further. So the resources have been deleted. Every resource has been cleaned up, correct? Now let's do the clear here. And we will start with creation of the workspace. So Terraform workspace new, and the name we will give the dev. Yes, so dev namespace, dev workspace will be created. Then let's give the dev and then staging. Two of the name workspace will be fine to have the configuration correct. Let me give one more name dev staging and the production. That I will give the namespace. Sorry, the workspace, Terraform workspace. In Kubernetes, it will be called the namespace, the production, dev, staging, everyone, correct? So I have created these three workspaces, and now let me select the. So if you want to see on which workspace you are currently, you can just click on Terraform workspace. So right now we are on the Terraform workspace that is called as a production. So whenever you create one workspace, that is created and switch to that particular workspace, created and switch to workspace production. So if you want to get into the earlier workspace, so Terraform workspace, select, and let's suppose I just want to get into the dev workspace. So I will do the select dev. So it will be switched to workspace dev. Here, I want to create the same infrastructure again. So I will do the Terraform plan, and rather than passing any file, I will just do the Terraform plan. So from where it will pick the value, it will pick from the terraform.devops, correct? From this file, what we have mentioned, it will pick up the details and it will create the infrastructure. Let me do the Terraform plan and we will see the details. So Terraform plan will start creating the infrastructure, and with the same configuration and the same code, we will create the infrastructure for all these three workspaces, correct? Plan 3 to add. Let's do the Terraform apply, and I will do the apply auto approve here so that it will be created. So let's get into the console, and we will just refresh, and we will see that one issue will be created here. So right now, this one is not running. It has been already terminated. One resource will be created here. It's being created, correct? Subnet creation complete, VPC creation complete. Instance is being created. It will take 10 seconds to create. So let's wait for a few more seconds and it will be created. My instance is still creating, 10 seconds elapsed. That has been created. Let's get into the EC2 console. Let's see demo EC2 running, and the VPC should also be there. Demo VPC, correct? Now I want the same configuration but for the different environment. That means there should not be update, there should be creation only. So let me do the Terraform workspace select, and rather than dev, here also you can see that one file has been created. When we created workspace, there was one folder created with the name terraform.tfstate.d, and within that the three workspaces what we have created, that has been created dev, then production, then the staging. And every workspace will have their own state file. For the dev, we have created the infrastructure. It has maintained the state file, correct? You can you can see the detail. Now we will create the details in the after that the dev. Let's create into the staging. So I'm just selecting the workspace staging here. Terraform workspace select staging. Switch to workspace staging, correct? Now let's do the Terraform apply again. Auto approve. So it will pick up the same configuration from the terraform.tvops, and it will create the infrastructure for the staging name, staging workspace. You can see terraform.tf state file has been created for the workspace staging. Correct? Log file is there. It will create the infrastructure and update the state file in between. So the same resources will be created with the same configuration, but a state file for them will be maintained separately for the different environments. So if you want to replicate your infrastructure for the different environments for the same customer, so you can use this Terraform workspace concept. But there is one more scenario here. If you want to have the different configurations, here we have used the same configuration, correct? If you want to have the different configuration for your different workspace, like the for the day you want to T2.micro, for the staging you want T2.medium, that kind of thing. So how will you do that? So we will see that as well. For now, let's see, dev has been created, staging has been created. Let's get into the AWS console. One more VPC will be created here, demo VPC, and one more EC2 instance will be created, demo EC2, correct? There should be four. Yes, one more demo EC2 has been created. Now, rather than using the same configuration, I want the different configuration for the different workspace. I don't want T2.micro for all the environments. Like just suppose that for the production one, I want T2.large, and for the day environment, I want T2.micro. So rather than using the variables in this way, what will I do? I will not be using these variables now. I'll be using these variables, what I have created here. I just kept it away for initially because you will be confused. So now I'll be getting it, letting it to be in the picture. So one is the variable VPC name. For this, I have created type map of the string, and for the every workspace, I have given the different value like dev VPC, staging VPC, production VPC, correct? So let me just delete the infrastructure what I have created, and or we can just update, correct? There is no issue. It will update the everything. So the update will happen when we will run that. So for the dev workspace, it will be the dev VPC. For the staging, it will be staging VPC. For production, it will be prod VPC. And this similarly, subnet name will also be changed. Dev subnet, staging subnet, prod subnet. And then instance name for the dev, it will be t2.micro, staging t2.midi, prod t2.large. And for the instance type also, let me change the variables name. So variable will be instance name, and what was the variable? Instance type. So let me call it as instance type, t2 dot instance name, instance type. And for the instance type, sorry, instance name. Okay, this is the instance name. Instance type is fine. What is the variable name? Instance name, or okay, instance name I have passed t2.micro. So rather than calling it t2.micro, I will say dev hyphen ec2. Then I will say staging hyphen ec2, staging hyphen ec2, and then prod hyphen ec2. So for the different environment, it will be the different name for the EC2, correct? Dev EC2, staging EC2, and the prod is EC2. For the instance type, that is our variable instance type here. We will have the configuration for the dev t2.micro, for staging t2.media, prod for t2.large, correct? So rather than using these variables, now I will be using these four variables with the type map of the string, and according to the workspace, it will be selected. How will it be selected? For that, we will be using the conditions now. So I'll be using the functions, the lookup function. How will it work? In the name, when we have to pass the name, it will go for the lookup, and then for the lookup, there will be three value, correct? In the lookup, if you hover over this, you will see there will be one variable, like for which variable you want to get the value. So for the variable dot bpc name, so it will get into the variable here, bpc name. It will look for the Terraform.workspace. Terraform.workspace is the default feature which will give the workspace on which we are working. So it will give the dev or the staging or the production, whatever. So according to that, it will be the key value. So it will get into the variable VPC name. From there, it will go for the key, which is the Terraform.workspace. So just suppose that we are working with the dev workspace. So it will get into the variable. It will search for the dev, and it will pick up the value which is mentioned here. Similarly, it will do for the different workspace as well. Like if there is a production, that is the workspace we are working. So it will go and get into the prod. It will search for that, and it will look the value, and it will update. So we will be just working with the dev and staging. Correct. So let's get into here, and let me uncomment this all the name. I have already written this, and I'll be commenting this value instance name, and let's comment out this. And for the instance type as well, let me use this lookup function. Control C, lookup, and var dot instance type. I will keep it here. Control C. Rather than var dot VPC name, it will be the var dot instance type. According to the Terraform workspace, it will pick up the value, which value should be picked up, and then the default value will be t2.micro only. Correct. If you want, this is the option. You can pass or you can leave it. So let's do the Terraform plan again here. So let me do the Terraform plan. So for the, let me check for the workspace first. Terraform workspace. So we are on the staging workspace. So let me change it for the select layout. Let's do the Terraform plan. So for the Terraform workspace, which is the dev, the configuration should be the same, correct? In the variable.tf, if you see for the dev, we have the t2.micro. So there should not be any kind of update. Initially also it was t2.micro, and right now also we are passing the same configuration. What's the issue? Line number 22, main.tf. Instance type, variable instance type, t2.micro, key default, invalid input back lookup requires a map as the first argument. Variable dot instance type. Okay, let me mark it as instance type rather than call it as instance type, the smaller one. Correct. And here also I'll be mentioning as a smaller one. That's the variable name, duplicate variable name I'm using, correct? So it has been the variable dot instance type map of a string, and it also requires the map of a string. Let me do the changes here and save it. It has been corrected. Let's run the Terraform plan again. And it should not show any kind of changes, correct? Because the variables also have the same t2.micro, and already our infrastructure for the day workspace is also having the t2.micro only. That the one what we have passed for the from the Terraform.tf. But for the different workspace, it will be changed, correct? So you can see 0 to add, 3 to change. What's being changed? The name. The name itself is being from the demo VPC, it's being the dev VPC, correct? And similarly for the dev subnet, demo subnet, it's being the dev VPC dev subnet. Let's do the Terraform plan, sorry, Terraform apply, and we'll see what will be changed. Terraform apply hyphen auto approve. So the name for the EC2, for the name for the VPC will be changed from demo VPC to dev hyphen VPC, because we have changed, we are passing the different configuration for the different workspace, correct? So let this should be implemented. 0 to add, 3 to change, modifying. Okay, so the resources have been updated, and let's see the changes. It has been modified to your dev VPC, and then the instance name has also been updated to your demo EC2 to dev one, correct? Let me, where is it gone? Instances. Let me refresh the browser itself. You will see the name should be changed from the demo EC2 to dev EC2. Okay, the name has not been updated. Why? Let's see. Variables.tf instance name, and the name of the resource instance name. Okay, it has been variable.vpc name. That's why it is not changed. So let me change it to instance name. Instance name. This one, correct? That's the map instance name. Let me save it and let's run it again. Apply, how can auto approve? One should be updated, correct? So we are just passing the different configuration for the different workspace. So for the day, I'm just doing the modifications, you can see. And once it will be done, we will see the changes. So for the VPC, the name has been changed. For the subnet, the name has been changed. And then for the EC2 also, the name will be changed from the demo EC2 to dev EC2. Let's refresh once again here. Questions, what was being modified? Dev VPC to dev EC2. Yeah, it should be. Why it not reflecting? Okay. Instance name tag. What have we first? Dev issue2. Dev issue2, it should be there. Let me just stop for 1 second here. Why is it not reflecting whenever while the instance is there? Why is it not reflecting? The issue is we are not most focused on this particular demo. So the issue is here we have to pass the name rather than the instance name. It's the name where for the tag, correct? That attribute itself is the name. Let me save it again, and we will run the Terraform plan again. Sorry, Terraform apply auto approve. So for the AWS EC2 or for any other, when you are passing the tag, it's the attribute, there is the name, correct? For all the details, we have just passed the name. For this AWS instance, we just forgot and we have just copied the same variable name, instance name. So it's the name which will be the part of the AWS EC2 name itself in the tag, correct? So from the demo EC2, it should be updated to dev EC2. Let's refresh here. Now you can see dev-EC2 that has been updated from the name demo EC2. Let's do the same for the staging workspace, correct? For the staging workspace also, it's the demo EC2, and we want that should be replaced with the staging EC2. And the configuration should also be replaced, correct? For now, it's you can see for the both instances, it's g2.micro. But for this second one, we want that the name should be changed with to the demo staging EC2, and the instance type should also be changed from t2.micro to t2.medium or something, correct? So let's see what we have passed for the staging. For the staging, it's t2.medium. That should be updated, correct? So let's switch to the different workspace. Terraform workspace select, and rather than staging, sorry, dev, we will call it as staging. Terraform workspace select staging. Now let's do the Terraform apply here, auto approve. What will it do? It will go for the same infrastructure. It will pick up the value from these maps and it will update the configuration. Let's see the update here as well. While it will do the Terraform apply, it will show you the plan as well. So it's refreshing the state, and which state it's refreshing now. You can see 3 to change, correct? So the name itself is being modified. And for the EC2, other than name, the t2.micro to t2.medium is also being updated, correct? From where it's updating the state file. So every time it's updating the state file, the one which is associated with it, correct? For the dev, there was a different state file. For the staging, there is a different state file. For the production, there is a state file, a different state file. And here also you can see for the dev, there is a different state file. For the staging, there is a different. For the production, we have not created anything. That's why it is left, correct? But you can see here for all these workspaces, there are different stage file. So it's being modified. So once it will be modified, we will check it on the AWS console. And I hope that will be clear for you that how Terraform workspace works, correct? So it's being modified. Let's wait for a few more seconds and we will be good to go with the details. So let me get into the AWS console. Let's wait for a few more seconds till the time this instance is being modified. For the meanwhile, we can check for the AWS VPC. So earlier it's the day VPC, and the second one should be replaced with a staging VPC. Okay, it has been modified. Let's get into the subnet. There was a demo subnet. Let me replace. Sorry, refresh. Day VPC, staging VPC for the AWS EC2 instance. It was demo day EC2, demo EC2. Let me refresh. Staging EC2 with the configuration T2.media. So this is how your workspace works. It creates the different infrastructure for the different environment, or you can have that same configuration for the different environment, but all of them will have their own state file. So for creating different infrastructure or the same kind of infrastructure for the different environment for the same account, you can use this Terraform workspace concept. I hope that was clear to you, and we'll meet in the next video with the different concept. Thank you.